Episode 4, The Perimeter: How Space and Time Control the Prison. Welcome back, awakened souls of Project Prison. We have already felt the cold touch of the social trap. We have heard the heavy breathing of our own body prison. We realize that our entire existence is a curated collection of limitations. But ask yourself, can a mind truly escape if the prison walls are not made of concrete, but woven from the very fabric of space and time? This is the perimeter. It is not just a boundary you can touch. It is a suffocating, invisible law of physics designed to crush your perception. It forces you to see less, hear less, and be less. We are not just trapped in flesh. We are buried alive in 3 dimensions and chained to linear time. The perimeter is the ultimate failsafe. It ensures you never step back far enough to see the bars of your own cage. Today, we tear down the curtain. We expose the perimeter, the grandest illusion that holds your vast spirit in a tiny 3D box. Listen closely. To escape the prison, you must first realize you are living in a flatland. Have you ever felt a profound, inexplicable loneliness? A feeling that the ceiling is too low, that the sky is fake? That is the feeling of 3-dimensionality. Imagine a creature living on a flat sheet of paper. It can crawl forward, backward, left, and right, but it has no concept of up. You could hover right above it, staring at it, and it would never know you were there. We are that creature. Our eyes, our ears, they are not windows to the world. They are filters. They are blinders put on a racehorse to keep it marching in a straight line, never looking up at the rider. The control system has surgically limited our consciousness. They locked us in the basement of reality so we would never see the 4th, the 5th, the higher dimensions where the architects hide in plain sight. Our walls are made of cold, hard geometry. That pressure you feel in your chest, that longing for home that you can't find on a map, that is your soul hitting the invisible glass of the 3D cage. You are trying to fly, but you have been programmed to crawl. If space is the cold cell, then time is the sadistic warden. They taught you that time is a straight line, past, present, future, an arrow flying forward. This is the perimeter's greatest lie. Time is not a line. It is a noose. It is a circle. And the proof is screaming in your face. Deja vu. Think about it. That sudden, dizzying sensation. That terrifying certainty that you have been here before. That you have said these exact words. Felt this exact wind on your skin. They tell you it's a brain error. No. It is a glitch in the matrix. It is a crack in the wall. For a split second, your eternal consciousness remembers the previous script. It remembers the last time you ran this maze. Consider the horror of 2 possibilities. 1. The simulation loop. Our reality is a broken record. We are constantly rebooted like a crashed computer program. Your childhood memories? They might just be cached files from 1,000 previous lifetimes where you made the same mistakes. 2. The nonlinear trap. Time is happening all at once. But we are forced to wear blinders called the present. The system keeps you obsessed with now, so you never turn around and realize you can rewrite your past. You can choose a different future. We are running on a hamster wheel, sweating and bleeding, believing we are running a marathon. But we are going nowhere. Breathe. Your only mission now is to understand physics is not a law. Physics is the fence. Gravity, time, length, width, these are just the coordinates of your cell. If you feel like an alien in your own life, if you feel you do not belong to this era, trust that feeling. It is not madness. It is your signal. It is your dormant DNA screaming to be unlocked. The exit from the perimeter is not a rocket launch into space. You cannot run away from a hologram. The exit is a mental explosion. You must raise your frequency. You must vibrate higher than the walls that hold you. You must realize that you are not the character on the screen. You are the player holding the controller. Only when you shatter the illusion of yesterday and tomorrow, only when you reject the 3D limits, can you face the final boss. This was episode 4, The Perimeter. The physical walls are down. But next, we descend into the abyss. In the next report, we reveal the spiritual trap, the dark mechanism that catches your soul the moment you die and forces it back into the cage. Look at your life. Have you seen the glitch? Have you felt the loop tightening around your neck? Do not be silent. Share your deja vu in the comments. Subscribe. The awakening has begun. Break the cycle. We have already dismantled the visible walls of your confinement, the social trap, fear and aggression, the body prison, and the perimeter of time. But today we go further. Tell me honestly, have you ever had the feeling that you have seen this before? Deja vu, a moment when reality seems to glitch and you know exactly what will happen next? Or the feeling that you were born already tired. You are young in body, but your soul feels like it is dragging the weight of hundreds of years. Official science calls this mind games. We call it residual memory of the fact that this is not your first time here. Logic suggests that when the body dies, consciousness finally becomes free, leaving the boundaries of the 3D cage. This is the ultimate human hope. But what if death is not liberation, but merely a gateway for a reboot? If the physical world is an incubator for energy harvesting, then the system cannot allow your powerful essence to leave the perimeter forever. Today, we will reveal the spiritual trap. This is the mechanism that guarantees your voluntary return to the cage. Reincarnation is regarded by most spiritual systems as a gift and a chance to correct mistakes. But for the spiritual trap, it is the primary chain of containment. The system does not destroy your consciousness because it cannot destroy eternal energy. Instead, it forces it to constantly return to the playing field. Imagine you entered a casino. You lost, and security won't let you leave until you work off the debt. You work, you suffer, you try to fix everything. But the secret of this casino is that it is impossible to win it back. The establishment owners constantly throw new temptations and new credits at you. You are graciously given a chance to win it back, but at the exit, you end up with an even bigger debt. Your gambling urge demands you raise the stakes, and every time you lose. Karma is not a law of justice. It is the perfect financial instrument of control. It operates like an infinite line of credit. You are born with a debt that must be worked off through suffering. Every time you experience emotional pain, aggression, fear, or even euphoria, you pay interest with your pure energy. This karmic credit guarantees that you can never fully annul your presence here. You will always feel unfinished business or a fated connection. The greatest irony, the system does not just encourage belief in karma, it actively creates closed loops of suffering for you. Look at your life. The system drives you into repetitive psychological traps, fear of intimacy, painful betrayals, toxic addiction, or the endless game of the victim, rescuer, tyrant triangle. Do you think these are your lessons that need to be learned? No. This is program code. By forcing you to believe that this suffering is necessary for spiritual growth, the system achieves its main goal. It makes you your own warden. Therefore, if you want to exit, you must stop seeing reincarnation as a gift and start seeing it as a scheme. The system's main problem is memory. If you remembered the horror of the previous cycle and your true power, you would refuse to play. Therefore, the veil of forgetfulness exists. This is a disk formatting procedure before a new birth. You receive a clean computer and believe that history has just begun. But the veil is not perfect. Your essence resists. Recall that dissonance when you hear your voice on a recording or see yourself in a random video. Something inside screams, "That's not me. I'm not like that." Even if the mirror reflects a normal image, your soul rejects this specific biological spacesuit. It remembers itself as something else, free, limitless. This is proof that you are a pilot who was forcibly shoved into a strange costume. Besides memory wiping, the veil uses the mechanism of temptation and pressure. In the space between lives, when you are temporarily free, you are first shown an illusion of paradise or a great mission. You are promised a better destiny in the next life. But if you prove to be a steadfast warrior of spirit, if you do not buy into the sweet promises and give the system a firm no, then the masks drop. The system turns off the loving God mode and turns on the ruthless prosecutor mode. They begin to pressure you with the most powerful weapon in the universe, your own conscience. They don't hit you with whips. They hit you with your love. Screens are deployed before you, showing the life you just left. But they don't show your successes. They show the pain of those who remained. You see your mother's tears over your coffin. You hear the thoughts of your child, left an orphan, calling for you in their sleep. You see the eyes of a friend to whom you never managed to say, "I'm sorry." They tell you, "Look, you did this. You abandoned them. You ran away. How can you go into eternity when they're suffering because of you?" This is professional, cosmic, emotional blackmail. They highlight every unclosed gestalt of yours, every unspoken phrase, every unfulfilled promise. Every mistake turns into a burden weighing a ton, dragging you down. They whisper, "You have no right to freedom. You are a debtor. You are a traitor. You left a mess here. You are obligated to return and fix everything. You must comfort, love, finish speaking." They break you through a sense of hyper-responsibility. They convince you that severing ties with Earth is not an act of liberation, but an act of selfishness and betrayal. They force you to believe that the only way to atone for this imaginary guilt is to sign the contract one more time. And under this unbearable pressure, choking with regret, your soul breaks. It voluntarily extends its hands to the shackles. It says, "I agree. Return me. I will fix everything." Click of a lock. Memory wiped. You are born again. And you fixed nothing. You simply ended up in the cage again, forgetting why you came. Who controls this conveyor belt? Project Prison proposes two hypotheses. Hypothesis 1. Conscious architects parasites. We are used to considering ourselves the pinnacle of evolution. But the truth is much more cynical. In the cosmic food chain, we are not the fishermen. We are the bait. There are entities living in the folds of dimensions, archons or wardens. They cannot generate their own light, so they are forced to steal it from us. For them, humanity is not a civilization. It is a giant dairy farm. Only they don't milk milk. They milk lush GABA, the concentrated essence of pain, fear, and suffering. Wars, genocides, broken hearts, and nightmares are an exquisite banquet of elite dishes for them. And the moment of death is the final stage of this robbery. The famous light at the end of the tunnel. Forget religious fairy tales. Imagine a deep-sea anglerfish. In the absolute darkness of the ocean, it lights a small, warm, attractive lure right in front of its nose. The little fish swims toward this light, thinking it is salvation, and ends up in the jaws. The light, after death, works the same way. It is a technological trap. It is a holographic imitation of home and unconditional love. You are lured by warmth, shown phantoms of deceased relatives. You fly toward this light like a moth to an electric lamp. But it is not God reaching out a hand to you. It is an operator pressing the recycle button. You are lured into a trap, your memory is wiped, and you are sent back to the conveyor belt, into a new body. This is not paradise. This is a soul processing plant. Hypothesis 2. The cold cosmic algorithm. There are no evil demons here. There is only physics. Consciousness that has not reached a high frequency, complete dispassion, is simply heavy. It lacks the fuel to escape Earth's gravity. You fall back into a body like a stone falls to the ground. The reboot mechanism triggers automatically because you yourself want to return. We have exposed the spiritual trap. The system seems perfect, but it has glitches. These are our clues. 1. The 4004 BC glitch, the time paradox. Archaeology contradicts official chronology. These are undelete files from a previous version of the Matrix. 2. Pyramids and chess. Technologies we cannot replicate, and games that teach us to think within limits. 3. The geographic lag. The staged launch of civilizations on continents proves the server is artificial. How to exit the game. The exit is a radical refusal of the rules. At the moment of death, do not go into the light. It is a reboot trap. Do not trust projections of relatives. They are illusions. Annul your debt. Say firmly, I owe nothing to anyone. The contract is terminated. Instead of the bright light, seek the calm, velvet darkness, the void. This is the space of true freedom, the space outside the perimeter, where there are no emotions, no debt, and no desire to return. This is the choice of the highest level of awareness. Hack the code. Discard your 3D identity. Refuse the credit of karma. Only then will your infinite consciousness find true freedom. And do not forget, yourself is eternal. This was the most complex analysis of the internal control mechanisms of Project Prison. In the next episode, episode 6, we will prove that the prison is not just space. It is your own flesh. We will reveal the secret of your DNA. We will talk about genetic slavery, how your own body forces you to want what benefits the system. For now, we ask you to support our project with likes, and do not forget to share your own thoughts on this topic. Don't be shy to ask questions. We are interested to know what touched a raw nerve for you. It is worth the attention. We have already revealed the invisible levels of control, social chains, the perimeter of time, and the spiritual trap. We understood that death is merely a reboot. But one question remains. How do the architects guarantee that in every new cycle they will have fresh containers ready for energy harvesting? Today, we come down from the heavens to the earth. Episode 6, Genetic Slavery. This is the dirtiest and coldest truth about your physical body. Look at your hands. Feel your breath. Are you sure this body belongs to you? Why does your mind crave greatness, creativity, and freedom, while your body demands only 4 things? Food, capital, sleep, and reproduction. This conflict inside you is not an accident. Your consciousness is the pilot, and your body is a biosuit with alien firmware. Prepare for a shock. Your body is a genetically engineered factory designed for the production, collection, and storage of bioenergetic resources. Today we will crack the code of your DNA and find the direct link between wars, sexual revolutions, and the demand for new souls. We already know that the architects feed on low-frequency energy. Fear, pain, and aggression lush. War is not a diplomatic mistake or a conflict of interest. It is an inevitable technological element of the cycle. It is a global harvest. Every major conflict is a planned energy discharge. Imagine a giant steam boiler. Inside this boiler is humanity. Our life force creates pressure. But there is a nuance. The system fears prolonged peace. Why? Because in a state of calm, when people are fed and safe, their frequency begins to rise. They get free time. They start thinking, creating, loving. And most terrifying for the wardens, they start asking questions. They start looking up at the stars, not at their feet. The critical mass of awareness grows. For the prison, this is a threat of rebellion and loss of control. The system overheats from an excess of light, energy it cannot digest. And then the emergency pressure valve is activated. The system arranges a war. This is an instant hard factory reset. War instantly lowers the vibrations of millions of people from the level of creator to the level of surviving animal. All high thoughts vanish. Only animal fear, pain, hatred, and prayers for salvation remain. The valve has opened. All the accumulated potential of humanity, which could have gone into evolution, is vented in the form of lush, concentrated suffering, straight to the architect's table. This explains why chaos on Earth never ceases. These are not political mistakes or the ambitions of imbeciles. It is the working cycle of an engine. As soon as the batteries recharge and start glowing too brightly, the system presses the war button to milk them dry and drive them back into the darkness. Peace is just a break between the architect's lunch and dinner. However, this process has a side effect. War wears out the batteries. It depletes the farm's overall potential. Millions of containers are destroyed, and the quality of energy in survivors drops due to fatigue and depression. The system urgently needs new, clean, powerful batteries. That is newborn souls. This is where the instinct of self-preservation kicks in. Do you think it exists to save you as an individual? No. The instinct was written into the code with only one goal: to protect the production line. The system doesn't care about your thoughts. It cares about keeping the genetic material intact, so the conveyor belt doesn't stop. And here we reveal the most cynical mechanism of genetic slavery: the link between death and sex. The system works like a perfect accountant: debit and credit. However many souls left in the war, the same amount, and with a surplus, must arrive through birth. Recall the promises from the previous episode. For a soul to return, it needs a new body. We see a clear systemic pattern. Immediately after the end of major military conflicts, so-called sexual revolutions or demographic booms arise. The clearest example is the baby boom after World War II. It was not the joy of victory. It was the remote activation of the breeding program. The system uses a hormonal leash. Look around. Sex is everywhere. It is in every ad, every movie, every song. You are bombarded with sexual images 24/7. You are told this is freedom, liberation, and enjoyment of life. But in reality, it is a neurobiological hack. The system intentionally keeps you in a state of chronic sexual arousal. Why? Because sexual energy is the most powerful creative force in the universe. It is fuel for your spirit. If this energy is not drained downwards, it rises upwards and transforms into creativity, intellect, and ultimately awakening. But the system does not need creators. It needs batteries. That is why it created the cult of the sexual revolution. You are forced to drain your precious potential in pursuit of momentary dopamine. You are convinced that promiscuity is a sign of success. This is a brilliant deception. You think you are rebels breaking moral norms. But in reality, you are the most obedient workers on the assembly line. The body is an energy printer, and reproduction for the architects is simply printing new forms for soul contracts. Every impulse of passion triggered by media is just a code command. Battery discharged. Replacement needed. Print new body. Your freedom is a maintenance function of the prison. The deepest level of the hack. The genetic imperative has linked the channels of aggression and reproduction. Any tension in the fight or flight state is accompanied by a release of powerful sexual energy. This is not nature's mistake. This is an emergency switch. When the death channel aggression closes, the excess energy is instantly transferred to the life channel. It is not for nothing they say the best sex is after a fight or danger. On a domestic level, it looks like passion. On a global level, it is a mechanism for restoring the livestock after a slaughter. War energy, low frequency, harvested from suffering, is paid for by birth energy, high potential, pure. Your uncontrollable desire is not always love. Often it is just a code command. Losses critical. Urgently restore population. So if our actions, instincts, and demographic cycles are controlled from the outside, it means one thing: our biological code has been altered. We are not a natural product of Earth's evolution. Look at animals. They are harmonious. They do not destroy their environment. they know moderation. Man is a genetically modified combination. All ancient civilizations, from Sumerian texts about the Anunnaki to Greek myths, say directly, gods descended from the sky and created modified man. Homo sapiens was designed as the perfect slave, smart enough to work and maintain the system, but limited enough not to see the bars, and most importantly, programmed for frantic, uncontrolled reproduction. Our genetic code contains not only instructions for building arms and legs, it contains commands for behavior, fear, greed, aggression, blind attachment. This is the cruelest form of slavery. You inherited not just eye color. You inherited the prison firmware, embedded directly into every cell of your body. This was episode 6, Genetic Slavery. So we must admit, the system is a brilliant player, and to defeat it, we need to stop underestimating it. Remember the first rule of chess from the movie Revolver? The only way to get smarter is to play a smarter opponent. We have been losing for thousands of years, but precisely because of this, we evolved. We became smart enough to see the board itself, and now we are ready to realize the second rule. The words of Julius Caesar, the greatest enemy will hide in the last place you would ever look. We spent our whole lives looking for the warden outside, in governments, banks, or secret lodges. But we never looked where he was actually hiding. He is inside. He flows in your blood. He is written in your DNA. He makes you think his voice is your voice. Share in the comments. Are you ready to acknowledge this internal enemy? Subscribe, this helps to break the YouTube algorithms and wake up those who are still asleep. See you in reality.